Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Different scenery today. I actually did a poll last week asking people what you thought of those year-end recaps, those year-end reviews, talking all the numbers of the reselling business, and kind of anything to do with my reselling business, my YouTube, my Macari, of course, the reselling side. So it turns out people like it. And I was a little hesitant at first because I don't want to come off like braggadocious. I don't want this to seem like I'm just bragging about my numbers. I want to share this so that people can see the transparency of the potential of reselling. Because when I started 5 years ago, we're now coming up on, my 5th year of reselling. And I never would have thought it would have grown to this part. I remember starting out saying, gosh, I made an extra $100 this week to, now I made 200 and then it was 500. So I've got enough this month to pay for my car payment or it kept growing, and seeing people's numbers, I think, helps motivate. So if you are just starting out, you can see what the potential is. I went from doing this part-time to strictly doing this full-time. I've definitely put all my baskets into the reselling business. I have worked on creating a course. You've heard a little bit about that over the last couple months. Still working on getting that up and going, hopefully soon. Of course, growing the YouTube channel and everything that goes along with that. So let's dive in. I want to show you guys all the numbers. I will bring you to my computer screen so you can see in live time what the numbers are for 2023. Right down here, we're going to start out into eBay. I want to start out with kind of a generic overview of all the totals, but then I will show you the grand total of gross profits. Net, we'll talk about that. I'll kind of share where my net usually sits, but we'll talk gross numbers right now just so we're comparing apples to apples. Okay, so when we see the total buyers, I'm up 70%, 1,800 buyers, and 70% on sales, 100% on repeat buyers. Repeat buyers, something that I did was send out a coupon code. When I noticed it was someone that kept buying stuff of that type, I sent them a 10% off coupon so that they could go back into my store and buy something else and save 10%. So that did help give some repeat buyers. So if we're going to break down some of these categories, I want to start with why some of these categories changed for me. You'll see this very first one, clothing, shoes, and accessories. This is specifically men's boots, $6,200. The reason this is so high is because last year I met a gentleman where I was helping him clear out his closet. He had a lot of cowboy boots, nice high-end pants and jeans. He had some models. He had cowboy hats. Really nice stuff. So I've been working with him, I want to say since like March or April of last year. So that's going to be why those numbers went through the roof. I still have to decide how I want to approach that relationship for 24. But for now, we're still meeting about once a quarter and getting some new inventory. So that's going to explain this boots number being as high as it is. Sporting goods. I've also put a lot of focus into golf clubs this year. I just naturally find a lot of them because of the area I'm in. I live down in a retirement area. So when we are doing a lot of church sales, they do country club sales where I'm able to get golf clubs. It's just something that naturally here in Arizona, we have a lot of golf clubs. What was another shocking number? So the hats, again, 180%. If we come down here, we're going to notice that some of these numbers did go down. Water filters. I don't buy as many water filters anymore. I used to get them and flip them for about $10 or $15. I'm really focusing last year on that margin. I want to make it worth it. I don't want to spend $2 to make $10. It's just not worth my time. And back years in the past, I was fine with that. I had the time, I had the space. A $10 sale is $10. So old me was totally fine with that. But now new me knows in order to grow this business, I need to grow the quality and the sell-through rate and the margins of the items that I'm sourcing. So water filters, naturally, I'm doing less of them. Video games, that's another one in that category. I have a disc cleaner. I went out and I didn't go out. I ordered it online. One of those shucks, I forget what it's called, but it's a fancy contraption. I think I paid $300 for this thing, and it cleans your discs for you. So I was buying yard sale video games, thrift store video games that are scratched to all get out, and I was able to resurface them to get them to work. Again, time is money. So old me 2 years ago was fine playing that game, spending hours cleaning discs to sell them for $10. New me, I'm not even buying that disc to begin with. If it's not in good condition, a high selling game, I'm not even buying it. So honestly, I could probably get rid of that disc cleaner. I know they still go for good money, and it's not part of my business model anymore. So that's how we can see that went down. Blu-ray discs, same thing. This was high last year because I found a Blu-ray set of X-Files. I think that sold for like, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. It was like $400, $600. It was something ridiculous. So this number is naturally going to go down because I didn't find another copy of X-Files on Blu-ray. So that number went down. Ink cartridges went up 500%, and that is because of, number one is the bins. My Amazon bins, I was able to find these really good printer inks that were selling for up to $100. So that number definitely went up for that. Yard sales, I was finding them more. I just gravitated towards them because I knew how fast and how well they sold. So let's dive over to Mercari. Mercari is one that I only recently started cross-listing to. I started using Vendoo. They were actually a sponsor of the video, a sponsor of my channel earlier in the year, and I love that platform. I still use it to this day. Even now that I paid for it, I still use it. So Vendoo is a cross-listing platform. I strictly only cross-list on eBay and Mercari. Poshmark, I don't like their app. So when I'm trying to cross list, it always kicks me out of the app and I have to re-log in. And it was getting messy. And then things were selling and they weren't getting removed from Poshmark. And no, I'm not even going to deal with that. So Mercari and eBay are the only two platforms that I cross list to. And on Mercari, we had a gross profit of $3,100, net profit $2,500 before cost of goods. So probably closer to $2,000 if I had to guess. And that's just on Mercari. What other numbers did I want to show you? I'll go back to eBay's numbers in just a moment because that's what I really worked for. YouTube, there was definite growth in YouTube. It's also because of the amount of videos that I started putting out. I also did the live show last year, starting the Moms Who Resell live show Friday nights to help build that relationship and build just that audience, the type of people I want to hang out with. So that helped grow the channel and just sheer volume, doing more research as far as keywords and titles and thumbnails, cleaning up the channel so that all my thumbnails kind of look the same, creating that, I don't know the right word, consistency on the videos, just really cleaning up the channel. And over the last year, we gained almost 5,000 subscribers. So we monetized in May. Was it May? I think it was May is when he monetized. So as you can see, you only need 1,000 subscribers to monetize, but you need 100,000 watch hours, 10,000 watch hours. I forget, but it was really high. And when you didn't have that many watch hours, you could get to 1,000 subscribers really quick, especially if you have some shorts that go viral. And that's what happened. So my channel got the count of 1,000 well before it got the watch hours. So it did get monetized last year, and my goal is definitely to continue that, to grow that in multiple ways. But I want to show you with the monetizing, how much I made on YouTube. I think it's nice to see the transparency that you're not going to retire on YouTube quite yet when you're starting out. So as you see, I've got about 6,000 subscribers now. My first payment was in May, and that was $58. June, I had more because I had a video that went viral. It was the one where, I think it was the scam one, the one that eBay scammed or something. I forget what I titled it, but that one definitely went viral, and that month I ended up with a check of $364. The following month was less, and then we slowly get up to a consistent $200 to $300 a month. The other revenue for the channel was that short stint of being sponsored by Vendu. I won't share how much they paid because I know they have a lot of resellers that they sponsor, and I just don't want to spoil that because I'm sure some people make more and some people make less, and they just based it on channel size and what they think their investment was worth. So I'm not going to share how much they paid, but it was 3 months that I got a little bit from Vendu to include them into my videos. So my goals, of course, is to grow eBay, grow the YouTube channel, and gain some more subscribers. So let's go back over to eBay and I will show you what my gross total for 2023. $124,294. Collected by eBay. Those are the taxes minus the selling cost. Those are all of the fees. What else do they include here? Of course, I think that includes the shipping. So they're saying that my net is $83,000 minus cost of goods. So I'm going to say probably my true net is probably closer to maybe 75, 70. Thinking of how much I paid for stuff. A lot of the stuff that I got from that boot dealer, I paid up. Like some of his boots, I was paying $40 to $60. Some of the hats, I paid $80. So I definitely paid up on some of that inventory. But I think I'm confident saying that the true net sales is probably between 70 and 75. But to gross almost 125,000 on one platform, I was blown away. My 90-day total right now is actually sitting over $50,000. Let me see where that's at in here. Is it under summary? Yeah, so here we are for the beginning of 2024. Last 7 days, last 30 days was almost 17,000. And last 90 days, that shows different than on my phone. On here it says 47. But on my phone, it says my 90-day is 52 to 57. So I don't know where the difference comes in, but $50,000 for a 90-day total blows my mind. So I'm hoping to keep that consistency, but I doubt I will. That was the holidays. That's going to include all the holiday rush in December. January is doing well. I mean, you can see in my last 7 days, almost $4,300. So January is still doing well. We'll also have a rush come tax time. When people start getting their refunds, they go to eBay and spend it. So that's going to include, I don't see a good increase to include those. Let's see what else. So I mentioned briefly some of the goals. I think if I could get eBay to 150 gross, I think it's kind of my little internal goal. It's going to be hard to do that, especially if I'm not buying as much from that boot dealer. But I'm shifting a lot of my sourcing over to the Amazon bins. I've talked about this over the last few months. I started with them back in, I think we decided September 1st was when I met one friend there. And I was going, I think 1 week before was my first time going. So end of August, if I should say. And if I start looking at what my sales were by the month, where was that at? Okay, yeah, so you can see here on the chart, I mean, it's going to naturally be higher on Q2 just because of the holidays, but starting September is when I started sourcing at the bins. So hopefully we can start seeing these 15,000 numbers consistently now that that is my main source of sourcing. I still love my garage sales, and those will never end because your margins will always be higher when you're dealing with private yard sales and estate sales. But I think my bins will always have a place for my heart. I just love them. I went today and I got, I think, 12 items. Some better than others, but still really good. Another goal for this year is going to be that sell-through rate. I know I've talked about it a lot, and it's because of its sheer importance. I have almost just over 1,000 items in my store. I think I have 1,015 items. I want this stuff to sell faster. It already is selling relatively fast because I've got 1,015 available, 747 sold. So the sell-through rate is high. It's much higher than it used to be when I was sourcing smaller items, but I'd like to keep moving inventory fast. I want to buy stuff that has over 100% sell-through rate so that it's getting out the door faster than I can keep it. I don't want it to even make it to my inventory system. I want it out the door. So that is my number one goal this year, is to really focus on that and make sure that my margins are worth what I'm paying for it. And dealing with the bins, I know that's a big thing because I'm paying $15 for each item. So it's either $15 for an item that's going to sell for $50 or $15 for items that'll sell for over $100. I want to find those ones that are selling for over $100. Especially when some of this stuff may not work. It may still be missing parts. You could test it, but you're not testing it fully at the store. You're just kind of making sure that it powers up and most of the parts are there. But you don't know for sure until you get home. I do want to share one really awesome tip that I started, I want to say 2 years ago, and it definitely paid off last year. And that is using a credit card to pay for your shipping. So I've mentioned this in a video before. I don't remember when, but the idea behind this is you get a high rewards credit card, like a Citi Double Cash. I think Discover has one. Chase has some, where the cash back is good, where it's like 1 to 3%. That is what you're looking for. So I use a Citi Double Cash card. I should get them to sponsor, but they don't sponsor this. So a Citi Double Cash, you get 1% back when you pay, 1% when you charge. So when I'm spending over $19,000 a year in shipping charges, that's all going on that credit card. And before you say, oh my gosh, Jennifer, that's a ridiculous bill. No, because I pay it every single week. I have a note in my calendar, on my calendar, in my phone, every Monday to pay that card off. So I'm going in and it's maybe a couple $100 and I'm paying it right there. I'm not waiting for it to tally up to $1,000 credit card bill. I want to pay it every single week. So as my payouts are in my account, I'm not shocked that $200 is coming out. I'm expecting it. So highly recommend it. The cash back, I forget what we did the math on it, but it was probably like, how much did we say? I think it was like $1,000. No, it wouldn't have been that much. It was a couple $100 that you got back in benefits, and cash back. So I used part of it to buy this Hulkin bag that I was using for a while at the bins until I realized it's too small. So that is now like my church sale bag, but that bag was $100 and I used the rewards from the Citi card to pay for it. So probably a couple $100, $200 to $300 is what I made for putting the credit card or putting my shipping charges on that credit card. And again, no, that's not a whole lot of money, a couple $100, but it's free. It's completely free just because I'm paying using PayPal loaded to that credit card. So that takes 2 seconds every Monday to pay the card off. And it also makes it where tracking the shipping is easier because I just pull that report and that's all my eBay shipping. It's also the credit card that I use for eBay supplies. I use it for business meals. If I'm out of town and I'm sourcing up in Phoenix and I'm eating out because I'm out of town, that's going on that card. Any eBay charges, not my sourcing. I don't put sourcing on there because that's kind of, you don't get to write it off until the item sells. So I don't put sourcing on there. I just put the supplies, my shipping, meals when I'm out of town, anything that I need to keep track of for my eBay business, tax purposes, I put it on that card. So it already exists for that purpose. And then putting the shipping is just gravy on top. All right. I already did a quick mention of Vendoo. They're not sponsoring me anymore, but I do love the platform. And if you're looking to do any kind of cross-listing in this new year, I have a link down below where they give you 20% off, or is it 25% off your first month. They have a referral program. So I do get a little bit if you do sign up using my link. But I hope you guys had fun. I hope this didn't come off like braggadocious or pretentious or any of those other ociouses and you enjoyed, you got to learn something. And I just pray that this year is thriving for everybody. And I know we all have our ups and downs in this business, but in the end, to walk away from an at-home business where I basically shop for a living and grossed over $125,000, I'd say that's pretty amazing. So I love what I do. I love sharing with you what I do. And if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Just a little button down there. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notified whenever I have new videos. And then as a gift to you, down in the description is a link to a free BOLO list. This is a list of top brands, top things to look for when you're sourcing for your eBay business. That is yours for free down in the description. My gift to you. All right, my friends, I hope everyone has an amazing 2024. I wish and pray the best for everyone, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Take care.